It's raining. I ain't gonna lie. I rewinded the song because I wanted people to hear me listening to Currency because Currency is so cool. Currency, the nigga dope, but like the nigga clean as shit. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of whacked out with that shit. Since it's about transparency, I just pulled some bullshit. Like, I'm play Currency, niggas gonna think I'm cool as shit. I was really listening to the song already though, so I was just trying to hurry up and get in my computer. Yeah. My nigga, my cousin was on Wiz Khalifa. And you know about that nigga. But let me go ahead and get started. I don't know how many people done watch this shit. I done seen I don't have no views right now. But my own. It's raining. I'm not sure if I already mentioned that. 1 minute and 12 seconds. And timing. And counting. I said timing like I realized that if you go up the number scale in the times table with the numeral 9, all you gotta do is count. All you gotta do is use the number scale backwards to the not using the numbers from the 9 timetables, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then then it's 10 times 10, and everything's 100. That must mean that they have to have an infinite equation to zeros and tens. No, 0 to 100, real quick. And I realized also that song came from damn, why every time I fucking get on YouTube, everybody decides to fucking flash mob me with their cars and shit. I realized that song also came from Hercules' Zero to Hero. He said he stole that shit from P. Diddy. That nigga had kids at that time. He probably did. So I'm just gonna get into it. It kind of started raining. I love the rain. I love the weather. Out here in San Diego, it's so fucking perfect. Like, it's so annoying. Like, it's beautiful every fucking day. Like, 73 degrees. No, just slight a bit of wind. Like, you get a breeze and a great, like, a calm from the ocean and shit. Like, it feels awesome, incredible out here. It's hard to even get these days in Texas. What the fuck? You know, it's rare to get these days in Texas. Even if you do get these days, shit, it'll be humid in the motherfucker. You gonna burning out them clean ass clothes you wore on that nice ass day. Got denim jean juice all over your white tee and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at you because you looking at me. Over here, it's not about drive-bys, niggas, pulling up on your ass like that. They curious and shit because they so dormant in their houses. They're not like, urban areas. They're not outside. So people like vlogging outside or just you being natural and creative outside, like being real cool and you're not like working and you're just being yourself. People like, oh my God, somebody normal. This is so cool. We have so much culture and vibrancy here. I'm like, I'm the only nigga doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm from a different place. I need to, and those kind of people always wake people up. Like, it's so cool. I should do something spontaneous. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you should be yourself. I'm glad we can be of help. Get so caught up in the corporate world and shit. Man, I don't know. I must be agitated and shit. But God damn, like, play some music too, at least. Fucking racket. My old ass. Okay. I said I do. Alright, I'm just gonna get started. It's Friday too, so we're gonna hear more cars anyway. So, Damn, so close to the goddamn screen. Um, but straight up, okay. I'm just gonna read because I left a lot of notes, and whether people watch this or not, I'm sure one day they will, and they'll get a lot in a mouthful. I gotta pause because people coming up and my voice is decreasing as they're increasing and calculating what I'm actually saying. And everybody's fucking their language. I just said that shit and they gonna wait time pass. So it's not necessarily I go let you make it out of it. And then they did it across the street. So I'm just going ahead and say this. So how people are making a lot of money in healthcare. The priest in and then they turned around. The priest in villages the priests in villages were the doctors, were the ones who healed people in their villages back in the days. The priests were. So it was against religion to gain any type of wealth or trade at all. It was disrespectful to trade anything for to heal people or to give them some type of knowledge. Actually, it was sinful. It was sinful because that knowledge wasn't theirs. That's ancient, like super knowledge that they wiped wiped from our history completely. That it was a complete sin, and they even made a law during medieval times or time, just times when we had civilizations and they actually had or made laws. You know, if they did make a law, that was a huge sin and that was completely dishonorable and disrespectful. If you ever traded or paid anybody in any type of way just to get any knowledge or healing from a healer and stuff like that was completely against everything that everybody stood for at that time because everybody had a common understanding that this knowledge came from us, came from the universe, and it was abundant for all. So for you to do that, it was extremely dishonorable. So who else held this position was the voodooists, the alchemists, witches, oracles, and like angels and demigods and stuff. They were also healers as well. Not demons or people like that. Like they call it they used to call these beings like jinns because it was like the starting point of like light monsters. So um, like if you want to know where a lot of those monsters and fabrications of understandings in which um, like Satanist summonings, like demons are just monsters. You'll look for the book of Jinn, and Jinn just means chi fire, and Jinn is like it's reminiscent in the same word. It's spelled Jinn. Um, in that book, it's Jinn, I think, or Ginn. But just as you know transfer over to culture, they still pronounce it they still pronounce it in a certain way. They just have different slang. So with the different slang, they have a different frequency, and then with those different frequencies, you will get another letter, but the pronunciation would be completely the same. You know what I'm saying? It just that's how you switched it up. And that's how you got the different spellings and different, additives and adjectives and stuff like that, and words and stuff because they had to for their language, and that's just how they spoke with one another. What was I saying? You'll see it in the Book of Jinn, and they'll have talismans. Ancient Kemet had talismans, and with these talismans, and I think they're called they're frequent. They're like signatures. They'll look like pictures, and with these pictures, talismans, and signatures, they're nothing more than a design, like a signature of a company. And with these design signatures and companies, all you have to do is run light or particular lights through them, and this would be the source of its soul. So that's where you get sorcery as well, and that'll be the core, which is the light, which is the star. So you'll have starlights and star fights, and there will be sorcery fights, like just like for example, if you know of any shows like Yu-Gi-Oh or like Digimon with cards, or magic cards and stuff. Basically, they'll put these talismans down, or they have staffs with these with like databases, or you wouldn't call them databases, but back then, but nowadays you would call them databases. And basically, they'll have like a hard drive inside the staff with all these djinn monsters inside these staffs. Or you can have it in your mind and you can actually speak them into existence, because whether you worked in nature was still a part of that fabrication. Side note, we are going to evolutionize back into these beings, or we're going to gain a part of ourselves back from nature. I mean, not back from nature. We're going to evolve back into those type of beings in which we will be able to speak things into existence once more as fabricators, and or have elemental powers in the future. I'm not sure of the near future. I don't really see it happening, but I know some aliens can still do it, so on and so forth. But these hard drives and these staffs and sorcery stones, or you can also have a mineral or a rock, or you can actually you can laser and water pressurize minerals and rocks, and actually uh, embed these designs or gin signatures or talismans in these stones, and from there you can ignite the light from the source of all, which is the universal light of alchemy, which is just earth, wind, and fire, and other elements as well. I think it's like space and as is above, so is below, and then the elements in between that make the passions of all colors. And then from that equation, you emit light, and then that light can go into these frequencies, and then you could then this gin is like rolling fire, like I told you, it's like papyrus. It's like a rolling fire, and from that rolling fire, you could emit that light and put forth gin, put forth that monster, or like they have like necromancer books and stuff like that. Um, um, like I explained why they don't want you guys to go into Satanism, and this is what it is, and this and that and the other. But because it's really your truth and it's really your power. So as you get past that and you find out, oh, it's not, you know what I'm saying, this and that and the other, and I see it's really nothing to be afraid about, and I now know the truth. Now I really need to look at what they really don't want me to look at, and really what the deal is. Okay, so necromandry is nothing but another frequency, another design, just like we are, but it was a made up design by I think the Vatican's. They made up the necromandra. The Vatican's did. It's like the white Pope. The white Catholic Church. That's their design. That's their design. Necromandros are Catholic design. I don't necessarily know how to prove it, but it's in their verbiage. It's in their language. Like they spell Vatican's the same way. Oh no, they spell Vatican's. Um, no, they had like necromandria in like the same contents as they would have. They have that in the same content in which they would pronounce Vatican's. So those are actual Vatican's monsters. Those are the Catholic designs. So check it. It's bad. So yeah, that's just what they were able to create. And these designs, they're just not one type of frequented design in which you just see a couple lines and you be like, okay, so I just emit this light through it. No, they're built like computer chips, like how you have like flat screens. They have a whole embedded chip inside of it that just no, they have a whole language within that design, and that design was attached to nature to gather the energy it needed to become in existence, from how you made it. So these are made through alchemy, and then it was able to be put into existence. So through that formation, these beings became formed through these design, and then you just put this design down and keep that design. So anytime you re-emit it, the universe has already put it into existence, so it already has a signature. You know, this will also explain the voyage manuscripts and just human beings in general. Stem cell research, all that shit is pretty damn easy. What the Egyptians did is the same thing. It'd be pretty damn easy to replicate our beings into an architectural structure and completely align it with the stars. Again, another consistency into what I'm talking about, just to prove and reinforce that it's the truth. Bang bang. So, with that being said, oh yeah, that would also explain how Egyptians were like their gods were sought out as sorcerers too. So that means they knew what they was doing, and they could have been out there Beyblading and shit. Nah, not Beyblading, but I love that show. They could have been out there. Uh, Man, it's a show with monsters and shit where they just have monsters and they just went at it. So it was better than Digimon because they didn't have to bring out like no Digivice. They just went at it. They just went hard. It's called Monster or something. Man, I gotta look that up. That was a clean ass show. Hold up, man. I think it was. I think it was. I think it was on UPN. I think Monsters on WB. Fucking Scooby Doo. Monsters fighting monsters. WB. I ain't gonna say it was on UPN. Oh, Monster Ranchers. Hey, yeah. Yeah, that hoe was clean. So it's just like Monster Ranchers. Nigga, turn up. Damn. I'm gonna fuck with that hoe later. That's clean. Ozzy and Drix. I ain't mean to go there, nigga. I'm just saying. Osmosis Jones. Yeah. So, just to continue on. So we all have that would just be said. It would just be said. Oh, that would also explain the Sphinx. Like, that's a abstract uh being that you put up there. I'm not saying that they actually did it. They could have just built that shit and it was just a Sphinx. But they had the knowledge and they knew how to do it. So just to justify both sides of the ball, shit. We missed a hell of a lot of our history, and a lot of shit don't make sense, but a lot of shit does make sense. And what they did we just don't know what happened. So we some extraterrestrial supernatural beings that sound like we got jumped for no reason over some envy, and it's just becoming apparent today that that's really what they did. And they trying to run it back, and Tesla and telephones and just, all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? Trying to say that they made all this shit, which is, telephone, Stargate, nigga, all that shit. And they trying to say that they made all this shit. They're trying to give y'all the free Wi-Fi in the air and free charging your phone in the air, and we illuminated the world and all types of shit. And they trying to run it back and say they did all that shit. Nigga, that's envy. This is voyage. You know what I'm saying? These niggas is They getting pleasure out of putting us in pain because they envy us. You know, they tripping, and it's apparent. It's in your genetic trail. That's why you did it, because you're envious. You know what I'm saying? So you're without, and our ancestors is laughing up in heaven right now. Can't wait to wait till niggas pass and they go down to where they need to go. But our ancestors are really proud of themselves because they never diminished themselves. You know what's popping? They never diminished themselves and shit. You know what I'm saying? They never had to diminish themselves. They stay proud and they stay righteous, and that's also apparent. You know what I'm saying? So stay real. You ain't gotta sell out. Keep doing what you do, regardless of what Not we ain't you still ain't got the right to judge anybody because people go through things, but even they need to make a change to be the light as well. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors didn't do it. We got jumped on, and people hated us. People envied us and made the wrong decision because of who we were. We all could have been unified to just in the world together, and I'm sure we tried our best, and they still chose the wrong thing. They still chose the wrong way. You know, but we still here, and I can feel it, and I know our ancestors have to be hella proud of us, and proud of themselves too for who they were and what they did, what they accomplished, and it must have been some mean ass shit if all this stuff happened. Not mean as in that's what they did, but like mean as in it must have been some really incredible things that they accomplished that would have made these people so envious over us. But that's we just all you can really do is keep trying, because that's another that will put us in dissension for us not to even be aware of those type of situations. If somebody's envious of us, that means we still have to be without sin to see that people are envious and they see a desired opportunity to seek voyage into harming us because they don't know how to handle their insecurities for themselves. So we have to uplift them. And if we don't, then we're in sin because we're allowing them to hurt themselves, and we know that they're hurting themselves by them envying us, and eventually they're going to either hurt us or they're going to hurt themselves. They're going to self-destruct until they find what makes themselves so special and why they don't need to hurt us to make themselves feel better about who they are from you know from what they see that makes us so special. You know what I'm saying? But what makes us so special has to be an obvious reflection of what they see in themselves that they just aren't aware of. So they have to keep trying, and they have to keep trying and working hard until they find that part of themselves that they love just as much as they love inside of us. And if we don't stand up and try to help them see that part of themselves inside of themselves, then they will continue to envy us. So all this, so we, not all this. I ain't gonna talk about it, but as we're going hard, we cannot sit up here and just keep pointing the fingers, like nigga, you ain't got no rhythm. It's not a smart idea. We're still in sin because we know how they feel about how certain people can't dance and shit like that. So you gotta do your deal. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But that's true. That's also an interpretation of the situation. Now, it's also interpretation of once you understand these scriptures in the Bible more. If you once you understand like life cycles in general, once you understand psychology, once again that's a consistency of one of my points, just to reinforce that it's the truth. Bang. So People didn't charge an arm and a leg for okay. Uh, yeah, and people even they got communities of people putting pathogens in water. They got people poisoning water now and stuff. This is completely disgraceful and completely inhuman and dishonorable for people to do these type of things. Like how you even, regardless of how you live with yourself, it's like what do you think when you be like, man, I'm gonna poison these niggas' water, and you don't even see them niggas that day. You probably forget about them niggas in that water that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not even focused on fucking niggas up. You just did some fucked up shit. Even if you in like a clan or something, it's like, so what is like, how do you, how do you better yourself in life completely so you can have more kids or have big banks? You know what I'm saying? I guess y'all get free money. You fuck slaves or whatever the fuck you do. You know what I'm saying? But like, so how you gonna live on when you turn a certain age? Like, so these niggas gonna still protect you. You gonna keep all these secrets, and then how you gonna feel when you die out? Like y'all gonna be proud of like, oh, this the brotherhood, and we on Instagram live fucking it up and shit, and you at the club talking about, oh, y'all gonna respect. You gotta keep secrets, nigga. We don't know who you are. Like, you know, like it's horrible. It's like it's not a good idea. It's not. Uh, you know. And that be they MO. It's like they trying to destroy communities and shit, and then trying to charge us, uh, everything to get us fixed, and just to give us some side effect as pharmaceutical, or they try to convince you on TV that ain't shit wrong with your faucet water, nigga, and they setting water on fire and shit. Y'all like, nigga, what? Like, now y'all start drinking fossil fuel, then what? And y'all got something to say. And people on the news be the most spoiled motherfuckers it is. Underpaid and unknown. Like small town local celebrities and shit. And I bet on they stage or on they board on the stage that they run in the green room or whatever, they niggas taste the hint of they water being off. The niggas like, hey, hold on, what is this? Everybody, they so particular about shit, but we all come from nature. But y'all putting y'all got filtered water, filtered purified water from oceans and lakes, man-made oceans and lakes. I mean, no, man-made lakes, and all types of deals. And then y'all charge them to purify the water, to purify the water. Again, once they get it out the faucet, they be like, "Don't drink tap water; it's not smart." And then hey, you charge people to buy water. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. They genetically alter fruits and vegetables to get the seeds out. I was like, damn, you think about becoming free again. What if we did choose to be free again? And these niggas taking the seeds out of everything. But these ain't the type of niggas. These ain't the type of scientists. These ain't the type of governments that's not getting sent to jail. It's crazy. But you taking seeds out of shit. You know what I'm saying? Taking the seeds out of shit, but sending people home, sending people to jail because they're just trying to make a living and feed their kids. And you're not out here paying people enough to make a living. You know what I'm saying? They just passed that $15 an hour law. I mean, no, it's not. They didn't pass a law. I think they just raised the minimum wage. And what is it? I forgot what I was about to say. But basically, we've always struggled to actually live in this world. Upper class, always barely making it. Middle class was down there with the lower class, but they was living good enough, and then the lower class was just eating scraps and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, what is the where does a criminal come from? I'm not for the cop out of this question. A criminal, I'm not gonna say where does a criminal come from. I'm just gonna give you the actual origins in which the word criminal means crime. Crime, that's a distasteful citizen in society that is crime, criminal, um, as a grimy mentalitized citizen that does grimy things. It just means distasteful. It's very distasteful. He does distasteful things, and with that, you have a disdain for him, so you prosecute him. You know what I'm saying? And these people are being demonized. They're being pointed at and criminalized. They're putting these governments are putting distaste in people's mouths towards people that are stealing from people because they need to eat and they need to take care of themselves, and people are complaining because they don't have that many things and they don't want their things stolen. You know what I'm saying? Not like they living in the kingdom and anything. They running short too, so that's why they snitch and they bang so hard because they go, yo, I don't got much to live either and stuff like that. I'm doing what I can. And I worked hard for that, this, that, and the other. And they built their shelter. They built their little anthill, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And then you criminalize people because they not doing just as good instead of helping these people and uplifting them and enlightening them and not realizing that, as individuals, we don't even have that much to live off of and do what we possibly can. So we need to fight back so we all can get it, so we can completely stop crime. And then the people that is out there doing trying to survive don't even have time to even think about it because they don't even know that they come from nature. They can eat leaves. They can sleep in grass. It's more healthier to sleep in dirt. And all the tools that you actually need is just in nature. They don't know that, so they running up in cities and neighborhoods, and people like, man, just go back to the fucking forest. They're like, go back to nature and just be one with God again, and just go back to your origins. And they're like, we don't know how to survive in nature. They didn't teach us that and shit like that. So they always robbing people, stealing Oreo snacks and shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't know that they can eat dirt or bark or anything. Because if all these homeless people did, these low income people did could, or had land to make their own food, trust they would, and nobody would be bothered. Everybody be cool. Everybody be Gucci. You know what I'm saying? They'll be building mud brick houses, with dead tree limbs or something, and wouldn't nobody be tripping? Be having crops in there about everything, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And everybody be like, who them niggas? They chilling. Ain't no crime over here. Ain't no distaste in that. They still they still at peace with God. They in nature, but they was never taught that, so they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's crazy. It's like, so, so these governments are supposed to be putting forth innovation and engineering to better our governance of society as an absolute entity, and that's including nature, doesn't even include the very fundamentals that make nature natural. You know what I'm saying? And that's to be fruitful and multiply, and that's to be able to be fruitful and multiply. One seed can multiply to about one seed from any other seed. You probably get, I can't really say that, it varies. But the majority of fruits and vegetables and nuts and shit usually contains shit up to 20 to 200 to damn thousands of seeds to plant, and you just keep going and keep going and keep going. That's why you pissing shit outside, and through that pissing shit is fertilizer, and it ferments the planet Earth. And it's a greenhouse effect, and more shit grows. It's easy. You're supposed to swallow the whole thing whole. You know what I'm saying? That skin you supposed to eat is calcium, all that type of deal and shit. You know what I'm saying? And nigga better be texting. You know what I'm saying? And then from that, and then you don't even have to after shit and piss it out, nigga. We smart enough to plant those things. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I What grimy was really criminal, and everybody in existence would say it is governments that are supposed to be governing and actually taking seeds out of food that's supposed to be feeding nature's children, and that's including themselves. And they will be including themselves if anything was to happen and we ain't had no seeds to plant because these niggas want to genetically alter shit, genetically altered fruits and vegetables to take seeds. I mean, to take seeds out of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so who got the seeds? You know, that means y'all know, and y'all gotta keep planting them, or y'all got some, stash somewhere, something like that, stash where y'all making super fruits or something. Like y'all just wouldn't do that for no reason, and y'all gotta have some backup plan for yourselves. You know what I'm saying? That's some real criminal shit. And to add on with that, while people out here starving and trying to survive, and y'all sending them to jail while they out here beckoning for knives and spoons just to eat some shit. You know what I'm saying? Just to eat nothing. To have nothing on their plate to eat from. And then they have to go in and do something they don't want to do, or live a lifestyle that they don't want. Like, they don't want to be these type of people because they're naturally good people. They're still children. They're just grown children. They're just grown adults. You know what I'm saying? That came from a childlike state. They still want milk. They still want friends. They still want to have a good time. These are still children. People want to say, oh, they're people and they're over a certain age. No, these are kids. These are kids out here. I'm still a child. I'm still 5 years old. I still remember myself being a humanitarian at 5. I still remember believing. I'm like, man, this is really effed up around here. I don't see why they haven't figured this out. Like, I was 5 years old. Swear to God, polygraphed me. I was 5 years old. I was like, man, I just, I was sitting there. I was like, man, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna figure this shit out. And then I did, and I had some help too. But I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, I'm 5 and these niggas still ain't shit. These niggas still ain't shit. These niggas still ain't figured this shit out. Like, I'm not being chauvinistic. It's like, seriously, I don't. But this is why you still can't judge them. But this is why you still have to be a light. Win, lose, or draw. Even if I don't figure it out, because I'm still in the rut myself, and I just figured out the knowledge, and I'm trying to, weed my way through so I can make a change as well. Not saying that I'm going to be successful either. You know what I'm saying? I knew that it had to be easier than that. It's just a lot more difficult on this side because we're not unified. But it would have been even harder if I didn't know the truth about biotechnology and sorcery. But now I can step in because Jesus is not a Christianity thing, but it is a Christianity thing. It's a religion. It's the light that emits from my body, from my whole entire being, from my brain, because the light made me through Christianity. A man and a woman having sex and emitting this light, which makes me and everybody else in existence an anointing one from the universe that created you, thus emitting a frequency which is life, straight up. So anybody, any one individual can save the world through your talents, through your brains and wits and talents, and seeing that your beings, one of your well, every being in existence, no matter what it is, has a specific job in nature to continue to advance it and evolve it. So we all are governors. That is very true. But your being is so happens to be a primate, primordial. that doesn't make us better than anybody, but that does give us the right to still do what we do, and that's to use our hands and our minds to formulate and continue to be fabricators. That means we can use our science, SCI, but that psi is also standing for PHY. Uh, no, is it science? Psi PH. I think it's spelled PSY or PHY. Yeah, yeah, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say psi and like psychology, and then science is the same thing. Basically, you use that social, that economic, and scientific biotechnology to your advancement, and you can beat anybody, any being, anyone out through Leviathan. You know what I'm saying? Social engineering, and get people back on your side. Social and natural engineering, because Leviathan is also a naturistic colossal being. And yeah, that's your right. And any one individual can do it. So if I didn't know the truth, I wouldn't even be able to step forward into changing the world today. And back then, I probably wouldn't have known. As a child, I knew that this had to be easier than said than done. Now I know that it is harder than that. It is harder than that. But luckily, through my adventures and my understandings and the hard work that I put in, and the people that I met and everything that I learned, now I'm putting the game out there. So now you can even know, and you can even make a change, and you can do the whole deal. But now I know that I have the tools in this lifetime to actually make a real change. So my possibilities is actually possible. True shit. You know what I'm saying? And so is yours. Even if you don't know the truth, I don't want people to believe that, if you don't know, you doubting them and shit. Well, we got all these laws passed, and we still doing a good job, because nature is gonna find a way naturally, whether I do it shit or not. So, you know, it's genetic trails. We're gonna keep evolving regardless. But I was just saying, what I'm saying, I'm gonna keep trying. You know, so yeah, so that's why I basically said, like, these niggas taking seeds out of fruits and vegetables. And I also had a note in here. It's like, these governments and these hospitals and these doctors and stuff, they be knowing that there's healing remedies around the world, and I don't know why they don't band together and they push for it or something. I got relatives, I got friends and stuff that's actually in the medical field. I'm not saying I ain't trying to rag on them, but I have to still be upfront with this knowledge, or I'm going to scare somebody astray, and then they'll be like, okay, so you're hiding, and just because of that, and people still really need to know. Nah, it's not like that. So I'm just telling you, it's like, and it's not fully their responsibility. It's the whole the whole healthcare establishment. They need to it needs to be free healthcare, and they need to bring forth any herbs, any natural, not supplements, because that's putting after any natural or organic, um any natural organic herbs that heals anything to the forefront, and kick them side effect ass bullshit ass, any kick those pharmaceuticals pharmaceuticals out the window, because that is just not that's not what we need. We need the real deal coming from nature, in which we oh shit in which we came from, that is one with us, and that is all that we need. We don't need nothing. We don't need nothing else, man. So I'm getting rain on my computer, and oh shit. So it ain't raining that bad. I don't want this to get damaged or nothing. This shit ain't waterproof. Yeah, it's not waterproof or nothing. It is kind of raining, but let me see. I guess I can wrap this shit right here. See what else? It's 11:11. It's a Friday. Man, this is kind of difficult. I'm putting some difficult notes in here, but actually I can do it. I'm just getting lazy. Damn, I'm getting a lot of water on my shit, on my laptop. But okay, so it says so the origins of the cross would have came from the Benin kingdom or the Egyptian kingdom, but it would have far greater exceeded um from from it would have predated all these cultures we know today to the beginning of which we stood. You know what I'm saying? Ever since a man had a penis, that's where the cross came from, um, as well as the swastika. But I know the swastika comes from Haiti, the Haitian religion, and this information would also corroborate and be in consistency with um, how I explain the Satanism when it comes to understanding, and how Haiti's culture is voodoo and what they practice, and that's jinn and resurrecting and summoning monsters from the darkness into the light, and then there is light through the color from the darkness, uh, which they use sorcery from, which sorcery is the light, and they would call that Satanism, which is the understanding. Satan means satanic, means so you got like Titanic, which we always perceive as sunken, but tannic just means under like not under a watery place, but like what that's tane like tane like bulb or orb, but tannic would be also underwater, but this would be like understanding because you're still standing on a foundation, and your frequency understands it. So it's like saying, and it's just saying what your design would say in the beginning of the universe, and it would have something to say through its design, and it would be say, and then under it would be it would be like tan, it would be tannic tannic, so it would be like uh you are understanding, like so satanic would be like you're understanding, and it's speaking to yourself. It's like a reflection of you speaking on yourself. So it's like satanic, like I'm saying tannic, like I understand. That's what it really means, and that's where voodoo comes from. And this is the swastika, and I can't really explain the swastika other than it kind of looks like 69 to me. Um, but it would also look like two rods crossing. Uh, but I don't think that's justifiable. So I would have to say that's another Adam and Eve, and another the swastika would also be another form of since it's coming from the darkness. It could be perceived as two two rods, like a 69 for like saying like two males and two rods and two gay men, but which would be emitting happiness from like nothing, and that would emit color, and then that would emit light. So he's within, she's within, she is he. So and those two rods would also be a description of would also be and also a symbology of the womb and the expansion of the color, See, so if you got the two rods and they're expanding as a swastika as so, and it is true that it's two rods and it's expansion using colors, then you'll get through that equation you'll get expansion, and that would equal Eve. So those two rods, which is the it would be the Pisces, which would be the balance, which would be 69. You would get the infinity sign, and the infinity sign is Miss Infinite. So you will get infinite through that, and you can keep mixing those rods, and through those rods uh, you'll get a shape because as one rod with no universe around it doesn't emit anything, but two rods would emit an emotion and an emotion and uh, a female emotion. So that's where you will get the translation and consistency of a female frequency through those two rods crossing as well, and you will also get a female. That's a hard one. You'll also get a female's vibration in order to expand from there. That's really all I had to. That's really all I would have to say. I kind of forgot where I left off, but I do know that's what I need to say. So this is where you'll get the word Haiti, Satan, which is another consistency. Haiti, which was known as Satan, and um, I don't know. I don't know where hate. I don't actually know what Haiti actually means, but I do know that was another word for Satan. So it must mean Haiti is also it's like fire, and it's like a fiery place. And since Haitian is Jamaican, and Jamaican is Rastafarian, and the word Rasta means light, levitating fire, and Haiti means the land of fire. But shit, that seemed to correlate well. And it's not demonic, you know what I'm saying? Now people be like, oh, you're talking about demons and being demonic and shit. They doing that shit in the fucking little buggy and shit. But they do like, oh, you talking about demons and stuff like that. Okay, there's actually a place called Haiti. I just explained it, and it's just a Kabbalah. Another way to explain Satanism is nothing but like an underwater oasis, like an underwater cave that some is to say that aliens have built in like the South Pole or the North Pole or the Tree of Life. There's another example is the Tree of Life as there has light above, but there's roots underneath in the darkness. But this darkness is its beginning, and it needs its nutrients from the darkness to emit light from the seed that was planted there with a purpose. You know, so there's just a correlation right there. Jamaica and Haiti and Rastafarian and the word Rasta, and Haiti's description and what it's always been defined as. So you got Rasta, which is artistic, levitating fire, chi. You get Ra and then the Egyptians. So you actually see the language from the oceans of West Africa down through um, from West Africa, from Benin. So this is also a correlation that I can just spit to you right here. So you got the Benin of West Africa, and um, their pyramids that completely look like the same pyramids of the Aztecs in Mexico, in upper in lower uh, North America and throughout South America, and then you would have and they in what is it and then from Benin you would have the Orishas in which they spoke, in which the Asian community has held on and replicated through their interpretations of chakras and cheese and jinns, and that is on the other side of California, going through Africa, through East Africa, onto um, going through Asia, going through the religions of India and Asia, and then out around back into California in Mexico. So why did I say that? Why I say that? I'm just speaking upon how they communicated, because if that is completely true, and Egypt in Egypt was in Egypt they said the Omax of the same districts and arena, the same were in the same provinces, the same areas as the Aztecs in South America, in Mexico. They it was said that they were Egyptian generals, and they were in cahoots with the Egyptians, not cahoots like they were in like some type of uh, co-op or something, but they were like they 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 um they built the same pyramids as the Egyptians, as well as the Egyptians, as well as the people in the Bermuda Triangle have underwater pyramids there. You'll see the traveling in architecture and language as you actually understand and see these slangs and translations of words, pictures, and architecture that completely cross reference each other. So you have the Orishas from West Africa, Benin, going through Asia, going across the ocean back into California, where where we were getting rastas, where we were getting rastas from Ra, which is Heru from Egypt. Oh my freaking God. Which is Heru from Egypt, in which they described as Ra, the light, from East Africa down here in Southern America, in which the Olmecs completely replicated those same pyramids, as well as the replications of these pyramids were also seen and are still there in the oceans of the Bermuda Triangle. So then you will get those cross references as well. So you see a complete X from West Africa going through East Africa back to California, and then you would get East Africa going through West Africa, going back to Jamaica, with the connotation of words of Ra and Rasta, and using the same acoustics to build their architecture, which would be the pyramids, and it will be completely semantic with each other, as well as the Benin information going back to the Benin Orishas going through East Africa, and they're sharing their religion with Asia, and hopping back to California and South America with the Aztecs. Now I'm not sure about the Mayans, but I haven't. I remember speaking about that as well. But they know the Olmecs too. They know the Olmecs and the Aztecs. But they had their own calendar, and I believe their calendar is a celestial calendar that had their own. Everybody had their own agricultural calendar that completely aligned with their culture, but everybody was translating the stars as much as everybody else, even the Greeks. So their calendar was the same as the West African Benin calendar. So it just shows that everybody was on the same accord. So that's how I know that also everybody was communicating with each other on a large scale, and everybody was very intelligent. I forgot why I started that whole reel, but that's another consistency to let y'all know I know what I'm talking about. So let me see. I'm gonna have to stop this because I'm being watched. Thank you, appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?